People are so fucking in their autopilot, just like zoned out, and sometimes it takes somebody to say something kind of aggressive to like at least you're feeling something, even if you're pissed. Like hallelujah, you're fucking feeling something. Welcome, you're alive.
We're back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast.
No one's letting you forget in the club. That is for fucking sure.
Are you in lots and lots of pain? How bad is the pain? Fuck you fucking asshat.
Having fun dancing in the floor.
Number one, why am I calling you? Number two, you ruined everything.
Oh, so good.
Hi, everybody.
Oh my god. Fucking spasms.
Just fucking classic us.
Oh. Leave it literally right to the last second. I can do the intro, sure.
You rarely get to do it, so I think it'd be fun if you did it today.
What's up, party people? Welcome back to the podcast. We have the most immaculate, offside, off the rails, in the best fucking way, turbo Club Unhinged vibes. Lisa Sykes in the house. I know we have a three-way today. I'm so pumped. Woman on woman on woman. I know we call it the three-way. We have like just the tip. We've got the three-way. We've got
the quickie.
Like, the quickie. So we've got all these unhinged names for these different series, but the three-way is the one we're doing today.
Love.
Which everyone always gets a giggle out of. And Lisa is somebody, oh my God, you know what? I only found you recently. I was like on Instagram and you know the homepage, and it was the most off the rails thing. It was like, do you have ADHD, or are you basically like, or like, are you just on your fucking phone too much? Or like I can't remember the first caption that it was. I was like, who the fuck is this? So on the explore page, so I click on you and I'm like, oh, I go through the carousel post and I'm like, oh, I'm dead. Like, because you're basically calling people out. You're like, do you have ADHD, or are you fucking tired? Like, do you have ADHD, or are you like watching too much fucking Netflix? And I was like, oh my God, I love this. I fucking love this. So I'm like binging your content. And then I text Kelsey and I was like, you got to fucking see this chick. She's off the rails. I'm obsessed. Like, she's so on fire. I'm like, people tried to cancel her and she was like, get fucked basically. And I was like, she'd be amazing. Kelsey's like, we need to get her on the podcast. So Kelsey follows her. And then, you had a client, Kelsey, in the UK, and she was a doula or something, and then you were like, hey, you got to follow this chick. So I think I don't know, Lisa, you messaged me actually, and you said like, hey, saw you followed me, whatever, like, we just, anyways, started voice memoing each other, like spamming each other instantly, and I was like instant connection. I'm like, you need to come on the podcast. You're like, I need to come on the podcast. And then we just went back and forth, and like, you know, when you find your fucking soul people, and you're just like, oh my God, like, thank you, universe. Thank you. And then, we just invited you on and you're here. And I mean, obviously I've binged your content. You're fucking hilarious. I love that you're opinionated. I love so much about you. And it's like one of those synchronicities that I'm like, of course. And I'm so happy you're here. And I can't wait for you to share more of your story and the shit you've been through and how you got here. Because I don't even know that story. So welcome.
It's so dope.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you here.
I think that was the you probably don't have ADHD post, right? I'm so pleased that it got on the fucking explore page. Like, my shit never gets on the explore page because basically I just swear on everything. I am like, I was shadow banned for entire 10 months of 2024 for apparently offending people in posts, and eventually the Instagram gods granted me freedom out of Instagram fucking jail, because I think are there any like off limits like swear words here? Because I know North Americans are very sensitive about certain words. We had a chat about this I'm in a group, and there's a whole bunch of other a mastermind group, and there's a bunch of other business owners in there, and some of them are North American. And you know, as Brits, we don't care about calling people cunts, right? Fair game. And yet it really like it kind of stings, I think.
Breaks their brain.
Well, I think it was, I've made a post that basically said, why I don't work with cunts and how to tell if you're a cunt too.
I think that's the one that I found. And I was like, I am obsessed with this woman. Like, she is a soul sister through and fucking through.
To get on the explore page with my content is a massive win. A massive win.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I feel you. I mean, so much of my content is, unhinged captions and swearing, and I just don't have a filter in that regard. And when I see one of them in the explore page, I'm like, how did that happen? Like, I'm like, how did we sneak through the radar there? I'm not upset about it, but also, like, I so feel you on that. And there are no words that are off limits here. We're Club Unhinged for a reason. And excellent. I mean, I'm pretty sure Christine and I have said every possible thing that we could possibly say that would be...
I mean, we started by saying it was a freeway, so we kind of set the tone, didn't we?
Exactly.
Yeah. And also in our workshops, Kelsey and me yesterday, we were leading a workshop. I mean, Kelsey and I constantly use the word like Cuntosaurus Rex. We're like, she's a fucking Cuntosaurus Rex. Yeah. Like we'll say obsestical, like we're saying the weirdest shit. And like you
make
can
up
tell
our
like,
own language.
There's sure, there's the shock value, I think, at first, but I think as well, it's just like, I find that I don't necessarily, like, it's just part of who I am. Like, I don't necessarily swear to get a razz. It's not like I intentionally try to do it. It just feels, I'm passionate, and you're we're all passionate. We have, it's expression. It's like, it catches people out of their autopilot. People are so fucking in their autopilot, just like zoned out, and sometimes it takes somebody to say something kind of aggressive to, like, at least you're feeling something, even if you're pissed. Like, hallelujah, you're fucking feeling something. Welcome, you're alive.
I think there's like a study as well somewhere that says that people that swear more are actually more trustworthy. Like, there's been some kind of research done around that. That people that swear more, they're almost like there's another layer of honesty, because I don't swear for swearing's sake, but I do swear, and I think like it does kind of it kind of becomes a little bit normalized. It's just, I don't know, it's just emphasis as far as I'm concerned. It's just emphasis. That's it. And unfortunately, fortunately, it depends how you want to look at it. Like, I'm a mom, I've got 3 kids, I'm a mom, and, my kids, I think this is actually tangenting slightly. My kids know when it's, like, okay to swear and when it's not okay to swear. My kids are, like, teenagers, right? And I've got a grown-up daughter who's, like, married and all the rest of it. And they know context as well. But I've never not... like, we've always like sworn in front of our kids, and yet they know, like, they're not out there effing and jeffing at everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I wonder about that. I was just thinking about that, about how, like, as you were talking, I was thinking about, like, my kids. Like, again, they hear me swearing, and it's so funny thinking about this, how we hear kids swear and we're like, oh, soap with your mouth. I mean, I don't obviously do that, but like you hear all this shit, and it's like so funny, because then we're turning around and we're like, like it's like, be good, and now we're like, fuck the rules, we're making our own. So anyways, it's so funny how, anyways, not that I didn't want my 3-year-old fucking rolling around with F-bombs, but like one time my daughter fell off her bike, and she what did she say? She fell off her bike and she got up and she goes, fuck her. Like, she said, like, or like, oh shit, that hurt, or something. And I'm dead. I have to walk away, because I'm like, I can't get mad at you. You used it in such an appropriate sense.
Context,
Context. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like that one time my eldest daughter called me a dickhead. What do you want to do about it? It was fully in context. She was about, I think, 6 or 7 at the time, and I was like, babe, I think it might be time to come off of your... She had like one of those toy laptop type things, and it was bing bonging away, and I was like, it's fucking wrecking my head. It's time to put that away now. It's nearly bedtime. I was like, Emily, I think it might be time to come off of your laptop, and she just kind of slammed it shut. I'm like, oh, you never let me play with this, you dickhead. And I was like, what?
And you're like, yeah, I kind of am.
But when I actually told her, I was like, hey, listen, that is like, that's an adult word kind of thing. And she filled up, she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mom, I didn't know. She was upset. And I was like, listen, it's okay. where did you hear it, expecting her to say, like, in the schoolyard or whatever. And she was like, I won't say the name, but she was like, you always call so-and-so this, my ex-boyfriend. I was like, okay, well.
Correct.
Busted. Totally busted.
Yeah.
Busted.
Then you're like, treat yourself. You know what, honey? Go to bed whenever you want. I'm always going to go.
5 more minutes. Yeah.
You know what? 3 more hours. Whatever
You
you
earned
want to
this, girl.
You earned this. Now we need an unhinged parenting class.
Oh,
Yes.
We need
yes.
a unhinged parenting.
I'm not a parent, but I would absolutely co-sign that in such a big way.
Totally off the rails. So Lisa, tell us I want to know a bit about your story. I mean, I want to know so much about you, and I know Kelsey does too, but like, can you just give us like, how the fuck, what do you do and how did you get there? Because like, I just need to know who this immaculate woman is and like, tell me your story.
Honestly, we don't actually have time for the whole thing because I literally don't even believe my own life sometimes when I look back at it. Like, my whole entire fucking life from being about 14 years old is literally unhinged. Like how can we like make this concise? This like version of me that you meet today, who is as I said, I'm a mom of 3. My kids are like teenagers and a grown up who's married and doing her own thing. I live in Paris. That's a whole story because obviously I'm not Parisian. You can really kind of tell that from the accent.
You sure?
But right now, I've been a doula for 15 years. A doula is, somebody who gives like emotional, practical, educational support to people during their pregnancy and beyond, essentially. And I trained as a doula in 2010. Not long after the birth of my youngest, should I say, my little boy, who's now 6'1", and that was really the beginning of this stage of my entrepreneurial journey. I was a doula for 15 years, and then I moved into like mentoring and training doulas, and basically people kept saying to me like, will you teach us like how you've done all of this shit? How, like, I was booked out straight out the gates, 3 months in, I'm fully booked because I just fucking decided like, I am the shit. I'm doing it like from day one. I'm going to rock up like I'm already the Beyonce of the birth world and just claim the title, basically. So that's what happened. I was super busy. Like, this was back in the UK. So back in the UK for the first 4 years. Then we decided, so first like unhinged, dragging my husband into it, because basically my eldest daughter, I got married when I was 19. I had my first kid when I was 20. I was divorced by the time I was 22, homeless, on my own, no money, no job, no nothing. Built myself up to having my eldest daughter in private school in 3 years, like got back into the workplace, all of that jazz. I left school at 15. I like dropped out because I had an argument with the fucking the religious education teacher. I was like, fuck that, I'm not doing this anymore. Left school, rocked up, got a job, ended up with a job that was supposedly for people with a degree. Just turned up and went, give me a chance on that. I can do that. I can fucking do that. Did the aptitude test, became a systems developer, got flown all over the place doing that job that I was not qualified for. I just like got in the room, basically, and just said, just like, I can do that. Give me a go. Give me a whirl. So it was me and Emily, my eldest, for 8 years, single mom. And then I was bored shitless in my job as a business analyst. And I just was like, there's got to be more to life than this. And so I quit. I had a mortgage, a child, zero financial support from her dad. He was not on the scene anymore. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm just going to see what happens. I've got loads of skills and I want to do something different. So I ended up walking out of that job, and the next serious job that I took, because I'd spent a lot of time as a single mom not being able to pick my kid up from school because that was someone else's job, because I had to go earn the money to pay the mortgage, to pay the school fees, to pay all the things. So I did that for a little bit, and then I was like, right, I'm actually going to run out of money if I don't just get a fucking job at some point. So I started to look for a job that I could use the skills that I had as a business analyst and an IT specialist, but in a way that made a difference to the world. I was like, fuck shareholders, fuck doing things just to like make money for other people. What about like actually making a difference in the world? So I applied for various jobs, and the one that I took was the least well paid of all of them. I'd worked out how much I needed to earn minimum for us to keep our heads above water. And I was like, this job, it's in a school, which is great because I can look after my little girl during the holidays. That's going to make life easier. But the pay was absolutely fucking atrocious. But I was like, I'll get in front of them. They'll give me a pay rise. I'll show them I can do even more than they've hired me for. Don't worry about it. Figure it out as you go along. So I took the job. And the first person that I met when I walked through the door is the man that I've been married to for the last 17 years. So that kind of paid off.
Oh, yeah, no shit.
The goosebumps,
Dang.
mother. Oh my. Okay, sorry. Keep going. This is like.
So that kind of paid off. That worked out, and I did what I said. I got in front of them. I was like, yeah, I can do all this, but I can do all this other shit as well. Pay me more money and I'll do even more things for you. So I did that. I ended up leaving there. I was headhunted to go work somewhere else. And then Keith and I got together. That's my husband. We got together. And that was the beginning of the journey towards becoming a doula, because that was all part of my like journey around my births with my second and third kids, basically. So I threw the towel in again. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a doula now. I'm going to be a doula now, and I'm going to just jack all that shit in. He thinks like when he met me, he didn't have Unhinged. He's a geography teacher. He's got like patches on his jacket and stuff, you know, like it's not an Unhinged vibe naturally, is it? He was just like, probably like, what the fuck? Who is this chick? What the hell? I basically convinced him that we should just sell all our things, just sell the entire like contents of our house that we'd bought and see where the universe would take us. Let's go live somewhere else. Let's just go on an adventure. So that's how we ended up in Switzerland. We didn't know until 6 weeks before that we were moving to Switzerland. We just fucking moved. Me, him, two kids, one had gone to university, 2 dogs, threw them all in a van and just moved to Switzerland. Started my business over again. By this point, like I say, the doula shit was just thriving. I was like the first doula in the UK to teach people how to leverage Facebook. I was a Facebook girly. I'm 50, you know what I mean? Like Facebook is where I hung out for a long time. Yeah. I'm an Instagram girly these days. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I taught people how to leverage things, and I just did things a little differently, basically. I was like, doulas have a reputation, and I think this is a worldwide thing, of this is like women's work, and therefore it's low paid. We should just be pleased that we get to fucking take care of people, all of that bollocks. And I was like, no, we actually get to do something that changes people's lives, and we get to be fucking paid properly for it. And so I was like all over the kind of stop undercharging, start charging for your genius. Not everybody can do this. Not everybody can do what we do. And so that was the little quiet revolution that started, and people started coming on board and saying, teach me your ways. And then, you know, fast forward a few years, we've lived in Dubai for a couple of years. We got bored of Switzerland. We were like, so where should we go next? Let's go to Dubai. So we went to Dubai for 2 years, lived in Dubai, total change. And we were there during COVID. That was crazy. And then we just said to the kids, it was 2 years in, and Keith's a teacher, like I say, he can get a job anywhere. I can do my work anywhere. There's always pregnant people, and there's always people wanting to learn how to become doulas, grow a thriving business, and all of that stuff. And I can do my job anywhere. So we said to the kids, what do you want to do? It was like New Year's Day, I think, after 2020, after that crazy COVID Christmas that we all had. And we were like, shall we stay here or should we go somewhere else? And the kids were like, let's go somewhere else. So Keith threw the towel in on his job because he didn't have a job to go to, but he was like, okay, I quit. We need to find another job. And that's how we ended up in Paris. I basically rubbed off on him over time. Now he's just like, yeah, just do the thing. The universe will provide.
Oh my gosh,
See,
I love
I've kind
that.
of plotted history of where I've been, but there's so many more crazy fucking unhinged stories we ain't got time for, honestly.
Oh, I believe that. Like, just with this snapshot, I'm like, oh, there's so much more in there.
When we arrived in Dubai, 16 hours after landing, my dog went missing. I've got a toy poodle. My dog went missing, and I literally, well, after I collapsed on the floor, literally pissed my knickers because I was just like freaking out. He'd got out of the gate. We lived on, like, imagine, like, basically on a highway, right? When you're living in Dubai, somewhere like Dubai. And I was like, that's it. Never going to see the dog again. And then I stood up and I was like, if anyone can get this fucking dog back, I can. And I just started rallying the troops. I was like on Facebook, going in all the dog mom groups. I was like, my dog's gone missing in Dubai. We don't even know our fucking address. Addresses in Dubai go like this. The big house next to the roundabout with a boat on it, round the corner from the fucking vegetable market. That's your address. There's no like zip codes and shit like that. I didn't know where I lived. We got that fucking dog back in 48 hours.
No.
We did.
Of course you did.
Lisa, I don't even know. I'm like, I'm already being like, how do I clear the next 4 hours? How do I clear my day? I have back-to-back meetings today. I'm like, it's all gone. I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we, 20 minutes in? And I feel like I've just been like, it's like I've been shot up with a fucking adrenaline and fucking like, I'm like motivational speaker meets fucking badass meets fucking like Tony Robbins on crack meets fucking like, I'm just like, what? This is like so amazing. Holy
Honestly,
God.
you couldn't fucking make it up. People keep saying to me, when are you going to write a book? And I'm like, where would you start? Like, literally, where would you start?
We can pop this into AI transcripts and you can have half your book already fucking done for you. I mean, I'm down. I'd invest in that. I'll be an
The
investor.
Lisa Chronicles. Like, it's like a whole series.
Totally.
Honestly.
Holy fucking
Absolutely
shit.
mental.
I mean, just out of what you said, I'm absolutely obsessed. Like, I can tell how you've gotten to where you are and the success you've had in everything you do, because it's not about, like you said, it's not about your credentials. It's not about it making sense. It's not about any of that. It's like pure straight shot fucking courage and tenacity and like that fucking power of like, I'm going to fuck around and find out, which is like all what we do in our club right now. It's like all around like helping women just get into that state of like, I'm going to fucking make moves. I'm going to figure it out. I'm either going to win fucking massively or I'm going to learn a lesson. But like, I just love I went from this and I just kept like you keep choosing your intuition. You keep choosing, that knowing. And I love how you're like, this doesn't make sense. Wow. I took the lowest paying job. Like to any other person, they'd be like, that makes no sense. I'm not doing it. Your heart, your soul, your intuition's like, you're about to meet your fucking husband. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm obsessed with these stories because again, they're evidence around, which I've experienced so much in my life as well, and I know Kelsey has as well, but just around this, like, you take leaps and you follow that thread, and it's like the universe is just like, I cannot wait to surprise and delight you, like, I can't wait what you're about to see. And like, we have no evidence. There's no fucking evidence saying, here's the way it makes sense. But it's like when you follow that thread, that internal like GPS, you're always fucking guided to the most immaculate, fun, adventurous, like, stories of your life. You can't make this shit up.
Totally. I actually, I said this a few times this week in different spaces with my clients and stuff. I actually feel like I control the universe. Like, I actually control it all. I control everything. Sometimes I'm like, I'll think of something, and then someone will ask the exact same question that they need. Or I'll have a conversation, let's say we have a conversation like this, and then someone will drop in and they'll ask something about, visibility or whatever it is. And I'm like, yeah, of course, because I control the universe. Like it's all attached to my brain. Like, honestly, I sometimes I'm like, am I actually fucking God? I know that's a bit controversial, but like, am I doing like, and I think we all are. The truth is that we all are.
Yes.
But we're so scared of how fucking powerful we are that we don't make those moves, that we don't follow those. And that's all the fucking conditioning, especially women, that we've had, like, since basically we came out of our mum's fannies. We say fanny in England, right? We don't mean arse, do we? Cunt. Out of our mum's cunt. Out of our mum's cunt.
I can't handle you. I'm just gonna say, Lisa, like if I had had you as my fucking doula when I had my kids, let me tell you, the fucking joy. I would have been like, I need to get pregnant again just so I can hang out with you. Like not that I'm done. I'm done with kids. But like, yes, but like I can't. What a fucking gift. You know what I mean? I just, what a fucking gift to any, and the woman that you're training as well. I mean, what a fucking gift to be able to have that as an imprint. Because again, like what I know of the doula world, I didn't use a doula, but when we did explore using one, but the energetic of it was very like, okay, I'm just going to say it how it's coming. It's very limp dick. It was very like limp dick. It was very like, okay, and then like if I had somebody come in and be like, this is what I am here. I fucking got you. This is how it's going to roll. Like somebody who's got that presence and that energy and that like, that confidence. I just found it was very like, what are you? And again, I am fucking completely like generalizing here. But like what my experience with it was like, I don't understand the value. Like I don't get it. And I don't really understand also just like what you're really even doing. And I think there is a lot of this very passive, I shouldn't charge for what I'm doing. This you can't charge for that. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like I think in the, again, this is my own experience. I'm sure people have amazing experiences, but I didn't really get it. And I just feel like, there's especially in that industry, it's a very like almost shameful. You shouldn't be charging. You shouldn't be. And this is in a lot of industries as well. It's like when you're really good at something or you can actually help people, there's almost this like shame, especially with women of like, I shouldn't charge for this. It comes so naturally to me. It's easy for me. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like that's the beautiful thing is it gets to be easy, but we're so conditioned for things to be hard and painful and arduous that it's like if something comes in a smooth way, it's like, oh, can't do that.
Yeah, because we're told that like, the only thing that's like valuable is either something that can be weighed and measured, that we can like see, that's tangible, but like a talent, like a zone of genius talent, a gift for something, just because you can't wrap it up and measure it and it doesn't fit into the fucking boxes that like patriarchy say, okay, that's valuable, this job's valuable and all of that, then it just gets filed under, things that fucking women do for not a lot of money.
Women's work.
No, it's why nurses feel, so I also coach a lot of midwives as well. So it's doulas, midwives and other like, let's just say people that are having a massive impact. And it's almost like we're supposed to be paid in the fucking impact and the privilege. And I'm like, sorry, but they don't take oxytocin down in the fucking supermarket. Like I literally can't give feel good vibes to the bank to pay the fucking rent or the mortgage. So no, like respectfully, no, that's not happening.
No, it's so offensive.
But also it's quite funny, like that stereotypical like the doula situation. I literally, when I was so I don't do births now. The last birth I went to was here in Paris, Christmas 2022, and so I'm not actively out there at births anymore. I've done my time. I've done my on-call, I've rolled my sleeves up, I've been splattered in fluids, it's all good, I'm there for it, but it's other people's time to do that, and I want to teach you how to grow a business where you are like sought after and sold out kind of thing. But going back to like when I actually was like super, super busy as a doula, I literally was like, okay, I'm just going to be me. The thing that activates people is me, just me, right? And it's not because I'm going to retract. I'm not God, right? I'm not God. I mean, it feels like it some days, but like, it's just like that my innate ability to either activate or bring something out in somebody, that feeling that they are good enough or not even just good enough, they're absolutely fucking like powerful or whatever it might be. And I remember at the time, I was surrounded by, there were like, obviously, people are people and everyone's different, but they think that it's got to be this like fucking floaty, floral, crunchy, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I've got a heavy dose of crunch going on over here. However, I'm just me as well. I like fucking Louis Vuitton as well. It's not like either or. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
I
yes.
like expensive shit, and I also like, I'm a little bit crunchy on the side. And I remember somebody being really like low-key shady and being like, oh yeah, Lisa, she's the doula for the designer handbag brigade. And I was like, I take that as a fucking compliment,
Yeah,
actually.
thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm the doula for the people who shave their armpits. Whatever, I don't actually care. I'm just a doula who can support people. And if people are drawn to my way of doing things, then great. And if they're not, there's a fucking load of other people out there as well. Do you know what I mean? I think that there's a kind of like thought process that it has, like, you've got to, I see it with the doulas that are coming through and they're like, I need this fucking pastel coloured, you know,
Neutrals.
floral, like, like things like that on like bellies and shit. And I'm like, my first website, the woman on the front page looked like she was going clubbing. She looked like she was going clubbing. People were like, why have you got like a flyer for a rave for a website? I was like, it's cool though, isn't it? She looks really cool, doesn't she? She
Having a
literally
good
looked
time.
why not?
This is so great.
Fuck. This is so good. And again, if that's their, like you said, there's somebody for everybody, right? Like, if there are people who would fucking hate the way that you were a doula, or they hate the way that I or Kelsey coach, or, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I just love there's something for everybody. And there are people who are going to want very floral and they're very gentle. They need that, right? And I think that's the thing, is like, we're not saying any one of these things is bad or wrong. It's just that, like, we each have our own lane. And I think this is what we see a lot of, obviously, is people in the sidelines. They're not in the fucking arena getting their ass handed to them. They're up in the sidelines. They're just fucking eating popcorn and being like, look what she's doing. And oh, look at that over there. And like, this is kind of what we're seeing online. It's like, they're not actually doing something with their life force energy. And so they're just sitting there like nitpicking and criticizing and coming after people who are taking a stand and saying crazy shit and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so interesting to see. Now, I know you have been, from my understanding, you've been canceled, attempted to be canceled many times. Attempted to be canceled many times. I know this is something, Kelsey and I are running a visibility challenge right now. And I know this is definitely, and obviously we have our club, and I know there's some fears just in general from people about going online and sharing their content, sharing their art, sharing their voice, because that is, I think, a lot of people's greatest fears. They say something that offends somebody, they do something, they get, sort of essentially people coming after them. It's like the witch hunt. They're coming after them, they want to cancel them. So tell us about that, and what the fuck did you do with all that? Because you've had that happen a couple times, is that right?
Yeah. Do you know what I was thinking the other day? And I was sharing a little bit with somebody. I can't remember how it came up, but I remember the first time, like, I've always spoken my mind, right? That's pretty obvious. But like, I remember being like, oh, is it okay? Like, can I like really put that particular like post or whatever it is, that opinion and so on out there? And I think it was about 2 years ago was the first time I really just was like, oh, I'm just going to fucking say that now. I can't sit on this for any longer. I just need to say it out loud. And I said something along the lines of, why hypnobirthing trainers are scamming you? And everyone was like, did you just say that out loud? And I was like, well, they are, because they're selling you this amazing thing. Like, I believe in the concept of hypnobirthing, which is essentially like nervous system regulation during birth. That's it, right? There you go, boom, trademark that, and then sell it for thousands. But essentially what it is understanding how to work with your body, your subconscious, and then regulate your nervous system when it's screaming, hang on a minute, what the fuck's going on? Because you're giving birth, kind of thing, right? And one of the things that I'd noticed, like, obviously this is in around my industry, was that there were all these people doing these training courses, and they thought that they would have a business at the end of it, and they had no idea how to fucking run a business. They had a skill, like being a coach or whatever it might be, but they had no idea how to run a business, and it was being sold to them by the people that were selling these hypnobirthing courses. Low cost setup. You'll be up and running in 5 minutes flat. You'll get your return on investment super easy. This is all you need. And the truth is that, like, yeah, you can learn that skill, but then the business part is not actually like, it doesn't come naturally to everybody. It comes naturally to people like me because I am a risk taker. I am a gambler. Like, I basically paid for my wedding by importing shoes from like Barney's in America when the dollar was, when we were getting 2 to the pound. I was like, okay, so get these shoes, end-of-line things from America, and then sell them for twice the price on eBay in the UK. I made $7,000. I made $7,000 in such a short space of time. PayPal shut me down. They thought I was money laundering.
Yeah, like scammer.
Money laundering. They're like, okay, what's this scam?
Yeah.
But like, I am entrepreneurially
Yes.
minded, right? But that doesn't come well to everyone. So I made this post, and even I was like, oh, can I say this? It's going to be some upset people. I was like, it's a scam. And that, I think that was the moment when, and people came, but more people came for me to say, thank you. Thank you for saying what I've been thinking for so long. Thank you for saying out loud the things that we've all been saying to each other. Hang on a minute, we just like sold a lie? And then of course, obviously the people on the kind of quote unquote wrong side of that came for me. They also, like, I've had flying monkeys in the DMs. It's a whole thing, right? You know, they send their friends and all of that stuff. But it's normal, I think, to be like, can I say this out loud? Because conditioning, patriarchy, all of that stuff. But maybe I'm kinky. There's something, once you've kind of broken the spell, where you're just like, actually, I can say what I want and I'm not going to die. Everything's going to be okay. And yes, some people are going to think I'm a cunt. But do you know what? Just because someone thinks I am doesn't make it true.
Yes.
Just doesn't make it true. Thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are just opinions. You know what I mean?
I do.
So the first one was like something like that, because basically I was like screenshotting and going, this woman just said, all you need is, you know, these are your outgoings, you know, hire a room, 50p, you know, like buy some whatever else, £1. I was like, are you fucking kidding? When was the last time you hired a room for like 25 quid? No. And she, like, these numbers are not right. Then all of her people came for me and they were like, you're having a go at somebody. Women should be supporting women. And I was like, yeah, women should be supporting women, but women don't need to fucking gaslight each other either and lie. So I think, like, I kind of broke the spell by saying I can say things. But the most recent attempted cancellation was a whole gossip website thread where basically they said that I was a master manipulator, a con woman, and somebody shrank it down to quite a cool and concise sentence, I thought, which was basically, she says, you should charge thousands or people can fuck off. And I was like, she's been watching.
That is accurate.
She's like, yeah, I'm not going to deny that. Yeah. But they were saying it like that. That was like, it was a bad thing. They were like, I'm not sure that I'm okay with doulas being a money-making scheme. I was like, you mean a fucking job? It's a job. It's a job, not a money-making scheme. Or are we also brainwashed by patriarchy saying that women's work is not worth paying for? I think it's probably that. So yeah, that was what happened. What did I do? I just made content. I just made content. I actually had somebody before that email me, who was on my email list, and take the time to email me to call me a bitch. She was like, you are, what did she say? I sent an email which had a tip on how to sort something out on Instagram. You know, when Instagram are doing its whole, like, we're changing the size of the fucking boxes and shit like that. And I was like, don't worry. If you just do this, and this, everything will be fine. And then, of course, they change it again a week later, whatever. But she took time to reply. I don't know how long she'd been on my email list, to basically say that I was a smug bitch, and that I had not shared anything award-winning. And I was like, okay. And I just made content out of it. I just, turned lemons into lemonade, as far as I'm concerned. That is how I deal with it, anything like that. And the reality is that when you are willing to stand for something, which really just on a basic level is being yourself, people don't like it. People don't like it because it reflects back in them just how insecure they are being themselves as well. I've got a teenage daughter here. She's as quirky as the day is long. She was bullied because she just knows who she is. She knows who she is. And, you know, young people are a bit like, this is weird. How is she like out there just being who she wants to be, dressing how she fucking wants to dress, like claiming her space quite quietly by comparison to her mother, I have to say. But one of her teachers was like, the reason that they're after your ass is because they see you being comfortable with who you are, and it shines a light on how uncomfortable they are with who they are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, isn't that the truth? Like, my goodness. Like, and I mean, we do so much work around authenticity in the club as well. And this has been a very similar experience in my social media journey and building businesses. And I relate to so much of what you've shared of like, well, I'm just going to fucking do it. Like, I want to change directions. I'm going to fucking change directions. I'm just going to do what I want. And that can be really upsetting for a lot of people who have like locked into the conventional path, but they have an unconventional soul. And so I see like there's like this aspect of people who are the first line to kind of try and tear you down are usually the ones that there's a spark in them that wants to be fostered and wants to be cultivated, but they're too afraid to go down and in and get to know those parts of themselves and bring them forward. Because you're right, like when you're different, when you're authentic, when you're yourself, like it puts a target on your back. And and so a lot of people would rather have the illusion of belonging and the illusion of safety that comes with that than be authentic and real and experience the freedom that comes with being yourself. Because I personally don't want to have to belong anywhere that requires my self-abandonment as the cost of admission. Like, no, thank you. Like, that's not freedom. Like, that's not connection. That's not true belonging. And when I see these cancellation campaigns, and it was like 2020, there was a huge uptick in obviously people going online and bringing their businesses online. And then, at least in my industry, the relational coaching world, these witch hunts just went fucking nuts for a couple years of like just takedown after takedown after takedown. And it's like watching these women get picked off one by one. I'm like, this is fucking brutal. But they never came back to coaching. They never came back to their genius and their gift, because these women who are in the fucking stands of their own life, who aren't, like, they're too afraid to get in the ring of their own life, they make it their mission to take women who are actually in the game out. I'm like, this is fucking wild. And then at the same time, they stand for the dismantling of patriarchy and all this fucking nonsense. Exactly. Like, I'm just like, you are literally, like, you've got the Dominator playbook, and you are following it to a fucking T. So like all of these
patriarchy's foot soldiers at the end of the day. They're
100%.
literally doing patriarchy's job for them.
100%. And at the same time, like they are like, I'm such a good and virtuous woman, and like, look at the work that I'm doing, and I'm saving women. I'm like, women don't need fucking saving. We're not infants. We're not children. Like, I'm a sovereign being who is capable of making choices for myself. And if I make an investment with someone and it ends up being a bust, I'm going to learn from that. Like, it's a valuable lesson in my growth and my development. But if I have my discernment on, I'm probably not going to invest in someone where my intuition is screaming, being like, you probably shouldn't do that. I'm going to listen. And I'm going to go towards the person who I can feel their embodiment. And I don't give a shit about their qualifications. I don't give a shit about, the pieces of paper and the letters behind their name. That doesn't mean shit to me. Because a lot of those people, in my experience, are not embodied in their work. And I prefer to learn from people who are going rogue, who are willing to like really live their life fully. And like that is obviously the trajectory that I'm on. So of course I would want to be around people who are, 10 steps ahead of where I'm at. And I think that's the beautiful thing about coaching and leadership and having a business and being visible, is that it shows women what's possible. And, even though we're really new to each other, like I'm so inspired by the way that you show up in the world. And I'm like, oh yes, another woman like us.
Thank you.
And like, that's the beauty of, being your authentic self, is that there will be a period of time where you do go through this experience where you're ostracized from, the mainstream, or like the people who just are swallowing their authenticity. But then the kind of switch flips, and all of a sudden the people who are also walking an unconventional path, who are also authentic, who are really on track and on purpose, they find you too. And those communities are so rich, because there's actually true belonging and true acceptance of like, oh, I know what you're about. And if I'm going to be friends with you, like I know what I'm getting, and you know what you're getting. And if we're both saying yes to that, I'm like, well, all things are possible in terms of what can be created and generated there. And those are like really the types of communities that I'm most interested in investing my time into, because there's very little drama over there. There's a lot of creation over there, because we're up to big things. And I just love that you've been such a beacon in the world, and a stand for that, and showing women what's possible, and being able to stand in the fire, because a lot of people can't stand in the fire. And it's always funny to me when I'll say something and I'm like, I don't think this is that controversial, and then the fucking internet loses their goddamn minds. Like, I remember doing a post being like, nice people are not nice, they're manipulative. And like, it's just facts. And like, there were people who got what I was saying. They're like, oh, thank God. Like, yes, that's the case. And I'm like, there's a difference between nice and kind. And I wrote that in my distinction and in my caption, but people don't read. They like read the caption or the headline, and then they go off the rails and they react, instead of like reading through the whole piece and then being like, oh yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And the comments were fucking atrocious. And to me, I was just sitting there like with my popcorn. It was like comedy hour here. I'm like I can't, like, that's this person's occurring worlds, like fucking wild. And then I would use it as teaching moments too. So I love using those experiences and then screenshotting them and then teaching about them in my stories or in my posts. And because people need to know how to handle these things when they happen, because they are part of being visible online and running businesses. And I think you just do it so masterfully. And I've been really enjoying your presence in the world, and I'm so glad that you showed up on the Explore page.
Me too.
We were able to find you.
But honestly, like I knew it was going to happen this year. Mm-hmm. I knew it would go from a few like troll type comments, mm-hmm. and the first thing was just like somebody actually having, like, I actually respect it, somebody having the balls to disagree and being like, yeah. No, you're wrong. Like, I'm here for that. I'm actually like 100% here for that. To be in literally people in my DMs, like coming for me and being personal and stuff. And I was just mm-hmm. like, whatever, like, bring it, it's fine. But I said towards the end of last year, it's going to be, maybe I'll make it to Reddit. You know what I mean? I was like, something's going to happen mm-hmm. like that. Mm-hmm. Wasn't quite Reddit. It was another one. But this was the first time I realized that there are entire websites dedicated to trashing people. Mm-hmm. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, mm-hmm. what is wrong that people, and what kind of life have you got that it feels like a good place to hang out. Like, that feels like a good place to hang out, to just tear people to shreds. I don't get it. Even if, like, there are plenty of people in the world, right? Plenty of politicians, plenty of people in the world that you could tear to shreds. But to, like, actively go and find somewhere to get in a fucking circle and tear people to shreds, like, what world is that? What world is that?
One very disconnected from purpose and meaning and even heart, and a lot of like emotional constipation and a lot of shit that just hasn't been digested properly, I would imagine. And I think of it like the parallel, like the National Enquirer magazines, you know, of my childhood, and like all these trashy magazines, and the whole point of those was to rip people to shreds. And so now it's just gone digital, and just more people can get in on that. Whereas before it was like a couple publications, but people were consuming that shit all the time. And I noticed like a difference between people who are really in their life fully making a difference. They don't consume content like that. And because they're too busy creating. But I think it's the people who don't realize that they're a creator. They have forgotten, or it's been conditioned out of them, or they've experienced a lot of fucking shit that's broken their spirit, and they forget that they can collaborate with the universe and they can create their own reality. And so, like you said before, like when you see someone who's doing that, it reflects back to you the places where you're disconnected or you're not doing that. And that's a very spicy thing to have to sit and digest. And a lot of people just don't have the emotional fortitude to sit with their feelings, especially their feelings of shame or guilt or sadness or regret. But yeah, it's fucking wild out there right now. Like, I don't get it. I don't get how you can like dedicate your life and that's your mission. Like, are these like then it gets into like a spiritual conversation of like, what kind of spiritual war are we in here?
Well, I think this is why we need communities, like the community you're building, Lisa, and the Club Unhinged, and what we're building is because the more we can talk about this and normalize it and have women who will take sort of the shit and turn it into gold and use these as teaching moments, and actually, like, rather than turning away and hiding and letting it consume them, you know, you're screenshotting it and you'll be like, well, this happened today. I guess I've made it. You know, I guess I'm really on the right track because I'm pissing people off. So I think having co-regulation and community, having other people doing epic shit, being in the game, being in the arena is so important because it normalizes it. And then we do have people to have our back. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I know Kelsey and I multiple times have been like, you know, we both experienced in our own individual containers. We both ran individual coaching businesses before, and then we came together as well. And, you know, there's both times we had, you know, I had people projecting shit onto me and saying nasty, you know, like, it didn't happen a lot, but it was like, there was a few times where it was like very destabilizing. Once when I was actually heavily pregnant, and it really fucking threw me for a loop. But now, like, you know, Kelsey had some pretty big ruptures in some of her containers as well. And it's like now having a space to talk about it, or Kelsey and I like know we have each other's backs, or, you know what I mean? Or like having, again, meeting other people where we're like, there's just more evidence of being like, oh, this is safer to do. Because it is. The nervous system and fear and like, and the reality of our life, you know, of what's happening on the online world is very real. It's very real and true. So I think having more of safe spaces and places of people actually saying, this could destroy me and fuck that shit. I'm going to use it as fuel to go out and speak louder and to clap back a bit and to say, you know what, that doesn't sit with me. We need more strong, powerful women, right? We need, you know, there's lots of powerful men, but having powerful women as well, who aren't afraid of like the shadowy, manipulative, you know, like, you know, behind the scenes, like again, if you're sitting there bashing other people, I mean, I got to admit, I know what kind of living hell that is. I was one of them. I mean, I wasn't going online and bashing people, but before I had my spiritual awakening, fucking however long, more than a decade ago, I was a fucking Cuntosaurus Rex sometimes. I was sitting there just like fucking being like, I don't understand why she wouldn't do that. Like, I remember working in a gym once and I was like, I don't understand. She just like doesn't show up. She da-da-da-da. And I was like bitching behind the scenes. And then guess what? I went and opened my own fucking fitness studio. I got my ass handed to me and I was like, whoa. oh, I got in the arena and I see what it takes to be a business owner. I was fucking judging her the whole time and, you know, talking about it. And then I got, you know, the universe is like, here's some fucking humble pie, bitch. Here's what it's really like to be a business owner. So I think this is the thing as well. People have so many perceptions about people in the online world. They just want to make money. They're just out there. They don't care about people. Like they have their own lived experiences. They have their filters and they're viewing everything in the world through that lens. So if they've been taken advantage of, then everyone takes advantage. So it's just, there's a lot of these absolutes. Like Kelsey and I actually did an episode called Making Nuance Great Again. And this was actually before Donald Trump was, we're not American, we can't even vote. But our whole thing, this is like actually a year and a half ago now. Kelsey and I said, we're like, you know, again, I'm not political, Kelsey is more so, but I'm like, we're not American, we can't vote. But like about a year and a half ago, we were like, let's make personal development great again. Like, it's so fucking boring. Ugh. It's so vanilla. It's just so beige. Spirituality, the personal development, the relational world, like manifestation, like it is so cookie cutter. And we're like, we need to fucking spice shit up again. We need to have fun. We need to make this like not so daunting and like let's be playful. And that's where Club Unhinged was born, because we're like, we can't take this shit anymore. We can't take the same regurgitated bullshit online, and you know, we're like, we have to create something that's edgy. But it's even initiated Kelsey and I to really step more into our power and to expand our edges of ourselves. And even this podcast, like when we started it, I was like, oh, this is different, because I coach a lot of like CEOs and founders and very professional people. And even though I speak like this to my clients, I'm swearing, and I'm, you know, they love it. They fucking love it. But I wouldn't say it was as public. So now being very public, and I was like, oh my God, I have like Club Unhinged me, and then my coaching me, and how do I blend these worlds? And then I was like, why do these have to be different? What about me swearing and talking about, you know, fucking butt plugs on Club Unhinged podcast negates the fact that I'm a fucking masterful expert in the intuitive coaching I do? Like, why does it have to be one or the other? And I think this is what I'm being invited to do right now, is to blend all edges, full range, and like really collapse them together and be like, all of this can exist and one doesn't negate the other, you know? And I think there's just, women need more of that, because it's like they're buttoned up. Everything's great. I love my family. And then they're like banging the fucking neighbor behind the scenes, and they like haven't had sex with their partner for fucking 8 years, and they hate their kids, and they fucking dress them to the nines because they are so insecure, you know, online, but everything's perfect. And then they have, you know, they go to Cabo and they get fucking, you know what I mean? They're like drinking till 7 a.m., but then they don't talk about it. Like, it's just, it's all this shit that it's like all of us, like Kelsey and I were like, you know, spicy margaritas are spiritual and they're fucking holy. And, you know, this is holy and this is holy. And it's just like bringing back humanity. And like, I think just really waking people up to the fact that they're powerful, they can create, let's have fun, let's not make this so fucking serious, let's take risks, stop being so limp dick energy. We have multiple episodes that have limp dick in the title, and surprise, shocker, they're the lowest listens, but it takes a certain person to be able to handle that, you know? Like, anyways.
Totally. I think, you know, one of the things that I'm hearing in what you're saying is that there's too much performance and just not enough like realness ultimately. And you know what? When you realize that every part of you is welcome, that you don't need to perform anymore. Like the thing that I always say is like, I don't want to make it like about business particularly, but it's almost like from a person perspective, you know, the idea when people say like niches and you get to be the niche, right? Because your uniqueness is why you're so fabulous. So why would you try and box little bits here to make it more palatable to those people and those people and those people and those people? Do you know what I mean? It's exhausting. It's just exhausting. I don't want to be like, okay, now it's like game face for this. Of course, you know, we do need to like buckle up sometimes because, you know, we've got, you know, shit to do and it's like CEO energy or whatever, like boss bitch, whatever you want to call it. There are identities within the identity, but ultimately, like, you just be you. Like, there's nothing easier than when you just are like, I am me. I am like, my version of unfiltered is not necessarily yours, or yours, is it, right? And even circling right back around to the beginning, you know, those flowery, like, you know, beige, whatever, like, if that's who you are, like all day long, every day, just be that. That's cool. I would much rather hang out with somebody that is that, and that's who they are through and through. This is not going to work because this is an English thing, but you know, we call it rock. I think it's called saltwater taffy in Northern America. Like where it has like writing in the middle of it and stuff like that as well. Have you ever had it where you cut like the sweet and like you can mix like candies with like your name on and shit like that? Like cut the candy down the middle and the name is in it. I want it to be that. Like cut me down the middle and it's the same thing that you see everywhere. It's Lisa. It's just Lisa. You know what I mean? And it just makes life so much more easy across the board. Yeah, like I say, sometimes you're going to need to put your game face on. Sometimes you're going to need to, like, you know, dig deep for whatever that resilience is or whatever it might be. But ultimately, if it's all grounded in you, just being you, life just gets to be so much fucking easier.
And funner. So much more
So
fun.
much more fun.
Because you have more time and space for fun and adventures. And like, even with what you've shared about your journey of like, okay, we're going to pick up and go, and we're going to switch gears and we're going to go on this new adventure. Like if we're too caught up in performing our identity and performing our life, we're never going to let ourselves go in the direction of where our spirit and our soul and our human really wants to go, because we're too busy micromanaging everybody else's expectations and judgments of us versus dropping in and being like, where are we going next? Like, I fucking love that is your story. And like, I was talking to my bandmate the other day and I was like, you know, I think my ideal like world is, you know, a couple months in the States, a couple months in Canada, and then a couple months in Europe. And like, that gives me space to like roam and have these adventures and experience new people and new things. And he's like, that's the most you thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't know why it took so long to just like lock it in, but because it's always been like, oh, I need to like go and like land in this place. And hearing your story today, I'm like, oh no, I don't have to do that at all.
You really don't. What's the worst that can happen? You know, when we left the UK, that was the first time we'd lived anywhere outside of basically, you know, where we were both kind of brought up in the north of England. And I remember like the day that Keith set off with the van with like the dogs in it, and all we took to Switzerland, we sold like the entire contents of the house that we'd lived in for basically at that point the best part of a decade, I think it was. And we sold everything. The dogs were in the back of the van. There was a small table and 4 chairs. We didn't have any furniture, like we sold every stick of furniture. The cars were gone, the whole shebang, and it was basically full of the kids' toys, because they were the little two that came with were 4 and 5 years old at the time. Emily had gone to university. She was having her own adventure, and that's what prompted it. We were like, why don't we have a fucking adventure? She's going on her adventures to university. Why don't we go on an adventure? And so Keith set off in the van, and he got like, I don't know, excuse me, like a couple of miles down the road, and we realised that the kids' car seats were still in the house and we needed them to be like in the van, because me and the kids were flying and he was driving with his mate all the whole way there to get the kids, sorry, not the kids, the dogs, I mean, easy to mix up, animals, the dogs into Switzerland kind of thing. And so I called him and I was like, oh, Keith, you know, the car seats are still here. You need to put them in the van so that they're there when we get to the other side. And I jumped into my mum's car, I think it was, and I drove. The kids stayed with my mum and I drove. It was like something from like a rom-com, this situation. I drove to this big, do you call them roundabouts? You know what I mean by a roundabout, don't you? Massive roundabout which goes onto the motorway, onto the highway, right, with all the junctions. And he was like, we'll meet at that big roundabout there. And it was raining, and he got out of the van and he just started crying, and I started crying, and he was like, what if we're fucking it all up? What if we're fucking it all up? What if we go and we end up divorced? We're so happy, why are we doing this? And I was like, but what if we end up even happier? What if it's the best thing that we ever could have possibly done, and we're not going to know until we give it a go? And it fucking was. Like, it was, unquestionably. You know, it was just the beginning of another adventure and another adventure. And we just said, what's the worst that can happen? Nothing real can ever be broken. Nothing that's real can ever be broken, ultimately. So, yeah. Get your ass to Europe.
Oh, fucking body. I can't. Like, as soon as you just started talking there, the story in the rain, and they're like, but what if it's like that whole, like, we say this all the time. People are like, well, what if this and what if that? And there's just so many. And it's like, but what if it fucking works? Like, what if it works? And it's like the story, like, I always think about, like, what do I want to, if I'm sitting there on my deathbed, what kind of stories do I want to be telling about my past? Do I want to be like, well, I played it really safe. And, you know, and then I got my RRSPs, and then I did my thing, and then I just and now I'm
Retired
here.
at 65.
Yeah, and I did my thing, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to be like, yeah, I just picked up, and I fucking, you know, I recently
I want it to, like, my plan is that, you know, if your life flashes before your eyes, I want to be like literally going, this is the best fucking film I've ever seen. I want that for me. If that's what's going to happen, like, already, if it happens tomorrow, I know that my life flashing before my eyes will be so fucking good to watch. It will have been amazing already. And like, I'm halfway through it. There's so much more to do, so much more to achieve, so many more people to support, and so much more for me and my family. Like, live it like you're making a fucking movie.
I mean, that's just like another thread of alignment here, because Christine and I in the club all the time say, like, what's the move that's going to make the better story? Like, make that move. And when you're 90 years old and you're looking back on your life, what is going to make for the better story? And do that. Because that's literally what's happening. You're writing your story as you speak. Every single day, every single choice, every single moment, you are writing the story of your life, and you may as well make it a fucking good one. You know,
For sure.
No one wants to read the story of...
You already fucking won the lottery by being born.
Right.
You literally already won the lottery 1,000,000 times over by sheer virtue of fucking existing. You're way more lucky than you give yourself credit for.
Well, I think that's a solid note to end on today.
Jesus Christ. I'm like, take me to church, Lisa. I mean, it's just so good. Oh, this conversation's just been so, like, zhuzhy. Lisa, I feel like what you just said there, the story with, like, but what if it works, is already, like, I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. But if you could share just intuitively, like, one message or something you want our audience to know, what would you share with them?
I think you're always doing better than you think you are. You're always doing way better than you think you are. You will, like, it's completely normal to have moments of self-doubt and those kind of what if moments. But if you can, like, look back and think of all of the shit that you have already gone through in your life. I always think to myself, I left my first marriage with a 2-year-old. I had no job. I had a credit card with a £150 limit on it and nowhere to live. Like, there's nothing that I can't fucking do. There's literally nothing that I can't survive. Ask yourself, look back. The way to decide, like, I'm powerfully going forward is to just have a little look over your shoulder at everything that you've already done and been okay. Like, you have survived 100% of the things that you've done so far, 100% of them. And a lot of them will have been like deep heartbreak, loss, grief, all of those things. This small, like, if it's visibility, this idea, this thing that you are thinking, but what if it works? Like, you're going to survive it even if it doesn't. You're going to survive it even if it doesn't. So just back yourself. Just fucking back yourself. You've done it 100% of the time so far. Why get in your head about your luck running out? Keep going. Just keep going.
Yes, please. Fucking love this. Oh, I'm so obsessed with you.
So so obsessed. I know. I'm like, yeah, can we get off the call so I can start binging your content again?
We're coming to Paris.
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh my God, that's our first
Club
Unhinged
Unhinged
retreat.
goes to Paris.
Definitely come and see me in Paris when you're in Europe. Come and see me.
We'd love that. So, Lisa, where can people find you if they want more of you in their world?
I mean, outside of the gossip website,
Right,
like,
of course, obviously.
Just pop me in there, and you're gonna find me,
Quick
popping
Google
off
search.
all over
Yeah.
those. But yeah, outside of that, you can find me on Instagram. I am at Lisa Sykes online, the Beyonce of the birth world.
love
And you can also you just find me on Instagram is the easiest place, and all the links are in my bio. We can hang out over there. I am obsessed with a voice message, but please don't make it over 3 minutes long, or I'll get low key triggered about that. But yeah, find me on Instagram, and you'll be able to find me in all the other places if you just find me there.
Oh my gosh, obsessed. We love it. And we'll also link everything in the show notes for everyone to make it super easy. And Lisa, thank you for taking the time to be here with us today and for sharing your story. I'm so deeply inspired by the woman that you are, and I'm just so grateful to live in a world with women like you. And I love that you are just being such a force for more women to activate in their authenticity and follow their truest expression. And I am just so grateful to be in connection with you, and I look forward to more collaborations and more hangouts and more unhinged conversations real soon.
Anytime.
Okay, we will wrap it there, friends. Thank you for tuning in today. As per always, if you liked the episode, please rate it, but only give us a 5-star rating because we only like those. And if you didn't like it, well, I don't know why you're still here at the very end. You must be a glutton for punishment. I think you might be super kinky. And we love that. So maybe you are super unhinged after all. And we'll be back next week. And we will be celebrating our 1-year anniversary on the podcast next week. So tune in for that. We will likely be getting turbo unhinged as per usual. And we love you. Thank you for being here. And we will see you all very soon. Bye, friends. All in all, we want to say thank you for being here. We love and appreciate you so much. And if you liked today, give us a 5-star rating. And we'll see you next week.
Share it. Do you know somebody who needs this in their life? Share this shit. Abundance goes round and round. We love you.
We love you. Bye.